This diagram explains beautifully the how the AI industry in US is a massive bubble. Bubble not in terms of technological advancement, bubble in the way it is being financed. And this example, this diagram is shared by a person whose name is Michael Burry. If you don't know him, you can do a basic Google search. He's the same guy who predicted the 2005 subprime crisis. He's the same guy whom you are also seeing in the movie called as The Big Short. You can see it on Netflix. And how this man, predicted the crisis 2 years in advance, took the reverse positions, paid the M2M for like 2 years, went in losses, but when subprime happened, he made a big fortune out of it. So Michael Burry is the guy who has basically shared this, and he explained here that how this massive AI bubble is getting created in US. Let's try to understand what happens here. So the US retiree means the US pension fund, at very simple terms, gives money to a company called as Athene. Athene in return promises a annuity, that means a pension amount. Let's suppose it gives as a 5%, 6% as a pension amount. So in the retiree think that their money is going to safe annuity. Athene moves this money to its own subsidiary based out of Bermuda. Bermuda is a small island near US, where again there are different laws. So it transferred this liability to a reinsurance company called as Athene US. Athene US, but based out of Bermuda. The Bermuda laws also allows you to basically take a 16.6 time leverage on that amount. See this particular third block, and this is classified as level 3. Level 3 means there is no market price for that. So it is $103 billion assets. This asset is then managed by a company called as Apollo. Apollo created its own company, structured a debt called as and it makes it into a company called as Apollo Capital Solutions. So the Apollo Capital Solutions basically uses this Bermuda Reinsurance funds along with the third party capital to structure $3.5 billion debt on this. And again, obviously through this whole thing, it gets some fees from various third party as it raises this debt. This whole money then goes into a special purpose vehicle called as Valor. This Valor is comprised of this $3.5 billion debt and $1.9 billion funding from Nvidia. Now, why from Nvidia? Because Valor will go and buys the Nvidia chips. Chips means the hardware chips, which is being used for processing of data and used extensively in AI. It's very simple. So if we just look at this transaction, so you basically attempted to buy something from a company, but since you don't have much money, the same company which intends to sell you the products funds you so that you can buy that product. So Nvidia one more arm called as Nvidia Private Equity reinvest $1.9 billion into this particular Valor purpose vehicle, and through this $5.4 billion, it goes ahead and purchased around 1 lakh GPUs. Okay. Now what are they going to do with the GPU? Because Valor is not an AI company. Valor then basically leases this to, if you see, leases this to xAI. xAI is, what is xAI? xAI is basically again, it's a Elon Musk company which right now, for example, they have a AI tool called as Grok. So instead of the xAI going and purchasing it from Nvidia and paying a huge amount, they decide to buy it on lease from the Valor. Now, if we just understand this whole cycle, so xAI needed the processors, to run their AI logics. Nvidia is the company which provides the chips or the processors. who is funding this? Who is fulfilling the objective of this particular, these two companies? Who is funding this? US Retiree. And what cost? Fixed annuity. That means a simple interest or the biaj, on the investment, because they presume it's a safe investment. Now, since this on lease, let's suppose tomorrow a new technology comes up or demand of a gets moderation. Not even like I would say it is going down. It goes into moderation. When since going to moderation, xAI may say, okay, thank you very much. Please take back your chips. I don't need it. It stops this leasing agreement, because it's a lease agreement, right? I don't want now. Please go ahead. No, please take your chips. It returns the chips back to Valor. See, Nvidia already sold. They got the money, majority of the money, plus they are getting some lease. But at least in their books, they have shown the sales. They've shown the profit, so their job is done. Whenever this happens, they will show one-time loss because of that loss in the equity arm, not in my core sales, and they'll mark it as one-time loss and move on. Who is going to be destroyed? The US Retiree, because it's actually his money plus some third-party money, which basically Apollo has basically got it from some other investors. So the ambitions of the AI companies are being fulfilled by the US retirees, and this whole cycle is where this is how this whole cycle is how is a massive bubble. It's again a bubble because it's not just one transaction. These transactions are happening every now and then because there is an extreme competition between the AI companies like xAI, Anthropic. You know the names. I don't need to tell you the names. And in this competition, they need more processors, they need more GPUs, they need more chips. They can't fund it. They don't want to put their money at risk. So they are using this cycle to get this money from the pensioners and other unknowingly investors. And this is why I am saying that we should be really careful. On how because whenever this bubble could burst, for short term, definitely going to every market in the world will get ripples. So just keep this thing in mind, and at the very first onset of the reversal, it's time to move out before the wave comes and crashes on your own shore. This is if you have any question on this, you are most welcome to ask. It's a little complex, but if you understand it calmly, you will be able to understand what I'm saying. As a summarization, very quick summarization, US Retiree gives money to Athene, Athene moves the money to Athene US, reinsurance arm based out of Bermuda. Bermuda laws allows it to take a leverage of 16.6 times. This money then is given to Apollo. Apollo creates a debt fund called as Apollo Capital Solutions here, and along with this money by Athene plus some third party, it creates a $3.5 billion VCI, which goes into a special purpose vehicle called as Valor, which is VCI, right? VCI goes and buys the chips from Nvidia, but since it can't pay the entire money, some money is flown back to the VCI by Nvidia to its private equity arm. They go and buy chips, but now xAI needs chips. Now since it can't buy that much, it takes from Valor at lease, and from where it gets some rental. The only thing I have to ensure, this lease or the rental amount which you're getting should be more than the annuity which they are paying to the US retirees. So they are getting good margin out of it, plus the upfront fees that they charge. That's their income. And tomorrow, if technology changes, then and xAI say, okay, thank you very much, I don't need your chips now. Then obviously, the chips will be sold at penny. In that time, whose money will be lost? US Retiree, because they will show losses, and in the end, the loss will be passed on back to the US retirees. This is happening with no knowledge of US retirees that this is what is happening with their money. So this is the summarization of this whole diagram, and the knowledge for you guys to see how the bubbles get formed in the global financial industry. That's it. Thank you very much. Have a good day.